Alright, so it's time to condition the battery. Since we're using it as a UPS to back up our actual UPS, it's basically charged 100% all the time. So, unless the power happens to go out, which hasn't happened lately. So the way to keep the battery healthy is we need to discharge it and then charge it back up again. So this is the manual for the EcoFlow Delta 2, which is what I have. And if we go to page 12, how do I store the product? Before storing, please turn the product off and blah, blah, blah. This is for long-term storage, please discharge and recharge the product every 3 months to extend its battery life. So it's been 3 months since the battery got discharged, so we're going to discharge it again. The thing I want to point out here is emergency power supply. So this supports emergency power supply, which is how I'm using it. So we do all this, and then it'll switch to the battery within 30 milliseconds. Okay, so this does not support 0 millisecond switching. So I think on one of the other videos I posted, I tried using it as a UPS, but with my 3D printer, but it wasn't fast enough when it switched to battery power to keep the printer going. It kind of did a glitch. So that's why I've got, as you'll see in a minute, I've got a actual UPS for a computer in between the EcoFlow and my 3D printer. Okay, so the usual caveats here. All right, so let's go out and get this process started.
All right, we're ready to start our test. So hit this button here. I never press the AC power button because if you press it too long, the power just shuts off. So I always hit the USB on off, and that's much easier to touch quickly and release, so you don't turn that off. I'm not actually using it, so it doesn't matter. All right, so we have a 99 hours, 100% charge on both and the extra battery. And we check our app here, 100%. This is running the latest firmware. Let's just check to see what firmware we're running. Device timeout never. Right, I'm running at the timeout. Here. So running the latest firmware. All right, and now it shows the extra battery. So extra battery is 100% as well. It's about in the 70s out here in the garage. Okay, so we're going to turn on the 3D printer. Oh, we're going to test one other thing first. So I don't have to keep checking here every few minutes, or at least every half hour anyway. I'm going to be using my power outage detector. So we're going to test that in a second. But let me just go over the setup again. So we've got the EcoFlow down here plugged into the wall power. And then I've got a real UPS here, which is when there's no load on it, we'll say it'll run for 190 minutes. So unless we turn the 3D printer on, and it goes down in about 50 minutes. So we're going to test the power failure alarm here. We're unplugging it from the back of the EcoFlow. All right, so the alarm went off. We should get a notification any second here. Let's check our notification. It's do not disturb time, so I probably didn't. Yeah, so here I got my power failure alarm. And just to take the power restored. So that's why I guess it did make a sound because I'm on do not disturb. Yeah, so do not disturb. So I'll have to make sure I have do not disturb turned off this evening, depending on how long this lasts. So should run at least 12 hours, I think. We'll see. All right, so let's turn on the 3D printer, and then that'll start putting some load on our system. So rather than just discharging it by running a space heater, heating up the world, fortunately, I have a setup here where I can discharge it and get some actual work done with my 3D printer, which will be printing stuff today. So get this turned on. If you're interested in 3D printing, I have another channel on my YouTube account.
solely devoted to 3D printing.
All right, so now we're gonna turn on the heat. That's what will start generating a load. So let's turn this up. We're putting PETG, which requires higher temperatures. So now we're just going to start that heating. And we're going to fix up the filament temperature. And then we're going to do the leveling. Okay, so now if we come over here to our UPS, there's a heat load on the printer now. It says 10 minutes, but it should last longer than that. I guess if it's heating up from scratch, it can't last very long. That's interesting. So normally I'm checking this while the printer's been running for a while. So once it gets all the components up to temperature, like the bed and the print nozzle, up to temperature, it doesn't take as many watts to keep it going. But it looks like on startup, but this would only last 10 minutes, which isn't very useful. So luckily we have the EcoFlow. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to unplug the EcoFlow from the wall power, and that should put the EcoFlow into a mode where it's providing the battery power. And as you'll see, because I have the real UPS in between, the printer won't know the difference. So we're going to unplug this over here. This is the wall power that this is actually a short extension cord I'm using.
Just use two hands here.
This hand may work better. There we go. All right, so now I hear a little click over here because EcoFlow switched to battery power. So now let's check our EcoFlow app. All right, so it's running. It's outputting. It's getting power from the extra battery. So now if we come down here, it's only showing it'll last for 3 hours. I don't think that's correct, but we'll see. So the extra battery is putting out 267 watts. It's 280 maybe. And this is putting out about 500 watts, so a little less than 500. Okay, well, however long it lasts, it'll be great. But I think it'll last longer than that. I think these estimates are a little bit off. So, all right, so this is all heated up now. And I'll go ahead and get the filament. We'll load the filament up. And then we'll see how it goes during the day. And by using my power outage detector, when the EcoFlow runs out of power, yeah, see here it's showing it's going from DC, that's the input from the extra battery, and then it's going out to AC here, which is what's powering the UPS. And this number is going up because this is getting closer to standard set point temperature. So then once it's there, it doesn't take much energy to keep it at that temperature. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get the filament. We'll load this up and start our print. And then during the day, at some point, the EcoFlow will be completely discharged, which is what we want. I'll get the alarm from the power outage detector on my phone. I'll have to keep my phone with me all day. I usually have it anyway. And then come out here and then just plug the EcoFlow back into the wall power, and it'll charge it back up. So then we completely discharge it down to 0, which is depending on what you're supposed to do. And then it'll recharge up to 100% over the next few hours. So I did this once before, but I didn't have this other UPS in between. So I didn't have the power outage detector, so I didn't want to run it down to 0 because then my 3D print would stop, which is no good after printing for hours. That's a big waste. So, all right, let me get the filament and we'll get this print started, and then we'll come back periodically during the day and see how it's doing. Now you can say it can last 8 hours, see, because it's heated up to set point temperature. And up here is what I was saying before. It can run about 50 minutes or so on this power alone. So once the EcoFlow runs out of battery, then this will run for at least a half an hour to 50 minutes, and I'll have plenty of time to come out here and plug this back into the wall. All right, we're a little over 3 hours in, and now we've got 71% left. It's showing 9 hours and 49 minutes. and the extra battery. So it's balancing the load between the two, which is nice. And our run time is about the same, 60 minutes. It was a little bit higher now than it was back then. But let's double check on the front down here. And so, yeah, so it's just 10 hours down here, 71%, 72%. It's putting out about 100, a little over 100 watts now, so the print's going, and like I said before, once it's heated up, it doesn't the temperature doesn't require a lot of watts to keep it at that temperature. Just the initial heat up from room temperature moves up. All right, so we'll check it again much farther along, and we'll see how it goes. So far, so good. All right, we're just about 12 hours into it now, a little bit less than that, and it's saying that it's saying there is 2% left. The time remaining is 1 minute. Okay. A minute ago it said 59 minutes. So it's at this low of a temperature, it's getting down super low. So now it has 0%, and the extra battery says 14 minutes. Let's check our throughput. So we have 121 watts coming out, and we have 157, 150 plus coming from the extra battery. Let's check the front panel. Yeah, so this says 0%, 1 minute left. This says 1%, so in a few minutes we should get the alarm, and then we'll see, and then we'll plug the battery back in and it'll charge back up again, so then we've completely discharged it. Alright, there's my power failure alarm. So the Delta 2 is out of juice, and now our regular UPS took over, and it says 66 minutes left. So let's go plug it in. You're not supposed to, there's the alarm, yeah. You're not supposed to leave it discharged, is what I read somewhere. So I'm going to plug it back in, and it should start charging up again right away. There, it's plugged in. The alarm went off, but that's because I think, okay, so now this thing is blinking back on, and it's saying 99 hours, which doesn't make any sense. Alright, so now this extra battery at least is showing something. This is recharging time, 2 hours. This one doesn't have a recharging time. Alright, so let's look at our display. Alright, so now power, 600 watts. Around 600 watts is coming from the wall power. I'm limiting, as I said in some of my other videos, I'm limiting the wall power charging to 600 watts because I've got other things running in here, like the garage door opener and things like that. So I don't want to pull 1100 watts, whatever the maximum is, and cause the circuit breaker to pop off. So now it says the recharging time is about 4 hours, 45 minutes. All right, so this is still beeping because it lost power, but now we can mute it. Okay. All right, so it should be getting power again. Let's see. All right, so it's not getting any power yet. Let's see if we need to. Oh, see, the AC got turned off. That's not good. Alright, so we have to turn AC back on. If you discharge the battery, this is good information here. You have to turn the AC back on when it gets completely discharged. So we'll turn it on. So now our power failure alarm just detected power restored. That's good. Alright, so now it's this guy is happy. I guess I shouldn't have muted it, but that's alright. Output 8 watts, 12 watts. Let's see, input. Somewhere input should be here. So input 114 volts. Yeah, okay. Another event. guess it doesn't say how many watts are coming in here, but we can see what it is over here. So the Delta 2 is providing 133 watts to the UPS. Now the UPS didn't require a lot of power because it hardly discharged at all because I was sitting right here. So, nice. I turned off mute. I shouldn't have turned that off. Oh, it's all right. All right, so that's a good thing to know. Some people turn these other ones on. I don't really use them, but I might in the future. Okay, so it's recharging, and it's estimating 4 hours and 2 minutes to recharging. So that'll be, after I go to bed. So, all right, so we've successfully discharged our battery, and we're ready for another 3 months of operation in our standard configuration. Which is, this is a emergency power supply, and we have our real UPS in between that and our 3D printer, which is essentially a computer. It has a computer in it, so it doesn't like glitches in power. So. All right, so that's it, and everything worked according to plan. I got my alarm from my power outage detector, and the only thing that was screwy was I had to turn AC power back on after plugging it in. So a little bit annoying, but you only have to deal with this every 3 months. So. All right, that's it.
If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Post a comment if you have any questions or ideas, and I'll try to respond. That's all for now, but more videos are coming, and if you want to see them, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification icon if you don't want to miss one. This is Beta Cygni signing out, and keep looking up.